Hello, I'm Errol Tucker with Mike Collins, and we're here at the Honda Racing HPD facility in Santa Clarita, California.
Today we're going to convert a stock Honda Fit engine using HPD parts to fit a Formula F in the SCCA Club Racing class. Errol and I are here in the HPD engine build shop, and in front of us we've got a Formula Fit engine that was reclaimed at the local salvage yard. We're going to look at how to convert that into a Formula F.
We have the parts for that conversion laid out on the table. Let's go over there and take a look at what's going to make this happen.
Here we have displayed all the parts for our engine conversion today. We've got an engine wiring harness with an HPD sealed ECU and the instruction manual for installing those.
We have your oil scavenger pump as well as your user manual, instruction manual on how to install these parts.
We've got an intake manifold with a cold air intake and throttle body with the mounting bracket.
New oil pan along with your plate that's going to change the oil pickups to make your engine a race application engine.
And we've got a catalog of the 3 different engine mounting solutions HPD has developed for your chassis.
So these are all the parts that you're going to need to do that conversion. What we're going to do now is step over to one of the HPD engine building stations and show you how to put these parts on.
Errol and I are here with Steve Cookson, our HPD engine builder, and our Honda Fit engine. Steve's assured me that at home we can do this in about 8 hours, and I'm certain he's going to be able to do it a little faster today.
So Steve, let me ask you, we have our donor engine here. What do we start with? What do we take off first?
Well, the very first thing you take off is your plenum and throttle body. Once you remove that, you work your way around to the harness. Once the harness is gone, you can take off your catalytic converter, and finally you'll come down to the thermostat housing and remove that.
Okay.
Once that's all removed, you can flip the engine over, you'll pull off your harmonic balancer and your oil pan, and then we're good to go to start putting on Honda performance parts.
Great, great. So folks, one part you may want to go out and kind of grab is a engine stand, because that'll make the job a lot easier.
That'll definitely help you out.
Great, so we're going to let Steve get started.
Thanks.
There's a reason why. In 4 years of powering every car in the Indianapolis 500 race, not a single Honda engine has failed. It's not the parts we make them from. It's the part we put in to every Honda.
All right, once you're done removing all your electrical harness from the throttle body and ECU, or throttle body and plenum, pull the 5 bolts that hold on to the plenum, and it should just lift right off. Put that off to the side, and you'll be ready to install your Honda performance part later. Next, we're going to work on removing the electrical harness. Now that we have the engine rotated over, we can remove our harmonic balancer and our oil pan to make way for our performance parts. Now that we're done disassembling the engine, it's time to put on our Honda performance development parts. Okay, there are a few parts that you're going to have to save from the old pieces that you've taken off. This is your map sensor and the O-rings to reapply to the HPD manifold. Now just remember, there are a few things out of your stock pan that you're going to need to hang on to. You have two dowels, an O-ring, your oil filter bung, and your rear main seal, all which, as long as it's in good condition, can be reused. All right, this is our stock thermostat housing that we removed earlier. You're going to want to take off the thermostat housing and the thermostat to replace it with the HPD modified thermostat housing, which has a plug and a sensor bung. And there you have a completed piece, ready to go back on your engine. Now that we're getting ready to put our pan on, we have to seal up our pan with some kind of RTV. There are two studs that come in your kit. They'll have to be put in as you're looking at the engine, the front right corner. These are the bolts from your original pan, plus there's one additional bolt that should come in your kit, and it goes down to the clearancing that we've done for our oil filter. Once you've gone through and put all your hardware in, you want to run all the bolts down evenly and then come back and torque them. And lastly, before we flip it over, we have the original crank sensor out of the original pan. We'll want to reinstall that right here. This is an HPD spec'd out alternator. The very first thing we have to put on in our assembly of the front end of the engine would be our alternator, so that we can put our belts on and then proceed on to the scat pump. All right, this is your factory harmonic balancer that we took off. We're going to get ready to reinstall this on our engine now that the pan is on. But first we're going to put in our scavenger pump. There's a few different components. You have a sealing ring in the very back of the pump, a sealing ring here, and a sealing ring in the cap to keep oil in the engine. Okay. This does two purposes. It's a sealing O-ring, plus it also gives our standoff to our pump, the back of the pump to the back of the your dry sump system. You want to install this all the way to the back as flush as you can. Once you have that O-ring installed, take your pump. It does have a guide pin in there to make sure that your pump is located properly inside your dry sump. Using a little bit of oil so that your pump slides in nicely. Line it up. Push it in. Get everything lined up. You may have to tap it with a mallet to get it to go past the second O-ring. Once everything's lined up, we put in our hardware and then finish with our torque. Once our pump's installed, we can put the harmonic balancer back on. And using our new spacer and drive supplied in your kit, we'll put this back on and torque it up. Once you have your alternator, harmonic balancer, and scavenge pump in, you'll want to reinstall your belt that comes in the kit. Now that we have our drive belt back on, we can put our scav pump pulley on and put the scav pump pulley belt on. Earlier we removed the water outlet. We need to save the water temperature sensor so that we can install it on our HPD supplied water thermostat housing. This is the new part that comes in your kit that we will bolt onto the back of the engine. Now we're going to reinstall our thermostat housing. Once we've installed our thermostat housing, we can come back to our water outlet plate. There's a couple of plates provided in your Honda kit to block off both EGR ports. This is the original water temp sensor that we removed earlier from our water outlet. It now goes into your thermostat housing. That's it for that. Now it's time to put on our electrical. So we're going to get ready and we'll plug out everything into the injectors first so that we can center up our loom for the rest of our install. One quick note, you want to make sure that none of your electrical wires are near any places that they can chafe. Alright, this is a Honda supplied manifold and throttle body with space with a restrictor plate. This all comes within your kit. We've gone ahead and assembled most of it, but we do still have to put in our manifold air pressure sensor that we removed out of our stock piece. Once we've installed our manifold air pressure sensor, we can move it on over to the engine. And that's it.
So we just watched Steve complete the assembly of the fit conversion kit.
And here we have it installed in a Piper chassis ready to go racing with the SCCA and the Formula F class next year. If you'd like to know more about the HPD products, please go to GoRacingTV.com and look for the link on our website. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Stay tuned. We'll have another interview coming right up.
Hey, Mario.
Hey, what do you got in this thing?
16 valve, 2.4-liter engine, 200 horsepower. Air conditioning.
32 valve, 3.5-liter engine, 650 horsepower, air conditioning.
Honda builds every Indycar engine. It's our commitment to racing and engineering. The same engineering that goes into the all-new Civic, the official vehicle of the IZOD Indycar series.
With so much racing going on in the world, you'd have to be a four-headed monster to keep up with it all. Luckily, we have that. Join Peter Keene, Bill Wood, Errol Tucker, and their guest driver analyst each week for an opinionated look at the news coming out of the racing world. Remember, it's GoRacingTV.com for all your racing and video needs. Errol Tucker here with Go Racing TV, and as I mentioned, we have been at the Honda HPD Racing facility all week. And today on Saturday, Honda has an open house that we were lucky enough to be invited to. And sitting next to me is Simona De Silvestro, and Simona is coming off of her first year in IndyCar.
Yeah, you know, it was my first year in the IZOD IndyCar series, and it was a pretty positive year for us with HVM. I think we showed that we could run up front at a couple of races. We had a little bit of set downs, but I think it was a really positive season for us.
Definitely, first year in the series, and being able to accomplish what you have, I mean, it's a great accomplishment. You are a testament of, once again, GoRacingTV likes to focus on the grassroots racing and people who come up through that series, and you are a testament of that success. You started out in your first series in Italy?
Yeah, I did. So my first open wheel was in Formula Renault in Italy, which was in 2005. And it's always a little bit weird coming from go-karts into cars. It's totally a different game, but I adapted pretty well. And the year after, I came to the US to do Formula BMW, which went pretty well. We almost won the championship there. It didn't quite happen in the last race, but I had enough good results to go into the Atlantic Series, and that's where I stayed for about 3 years. And last year was a really strong year in the Atlantic Series. I was leading the championship until the last race, and yeah, again something happened and didn't quite make it. But
darn those gremlins.
I know. But maybe it's a sign that I'll win a really important championship. So and then I think the results that we showed in the Atlantic last year, a couple of sponsors came behind us, and HVM gave me the opportunity actually to go into the IndyCar series. And it's just kind of a dream come true, being in the top open wheel series here in North America, and with the whole support of Honda and IZOD. I think it's a great series to be part of. And the Indy 500 is something pretty special. It was my first year on the ovals. I've never done ovals before, and to win Rookie of the Year at the Indy 500, it's something pretty cool.
So now, just talk to me a little bit of how the learning curve may have been to come to an IndyCar, which everybody hears about and dreams about.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I think you have to be in the right moment at the right time, and you have to show having results in each category. But I think if a young kid really believes in himself and just pushes hard, and I think he can achieve his dream to be in the IndyCar series.
Great. So I know this is what we call the silly season in racing. What can we expect next year?
Well, yeah, it is silly season, like you said. I think a couple of things are coming together with HVM Racing.
Good.
Yeah, they've been working on some sponsorship for next year, and I think it's looking pretty good. So I hope I'll be back in the IZOD IndyCar series.
Well, thanks for taking some time out and speaking to GoRacingTV.
Thank you.